What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We've got a great video for you guys today. The worst types of passengers you can have. Before we jump into this video, we wanted to give a quick shout out to Play Octopus, one of the best services for rideshare drivers, hands down. They send you a tablet for free. It attaches to the back of your headrest. Customers can play games on these tablets and win some pretty great prizes. And the best part is, you make more money if they're playing the games on the tablet. It is a no-brainer. Play Octopus pays for the data. They send you the tablet for free, and on top of that, all Play Octopus drivers are proven to have higher ratings overall, and they get more tips just for providing that extra level of entertainment. If it's free, I don't know why you guys wouldn't do it. There's a link in the description. Check it out. Let's jump into this video. Alrighty. So I made this list based on the worst types of passengers I've experienced. If you guys had some that you think should be on this list, definitely let us know in the comments. Let's dive in. The number one worst type of passenger you can have is the Karen. The Karen who complains about every single thing you do. I had one ride in particular that always comes to my mind, and it was this lady who was on her phone practically the whole time, but would look up and insist I had committed some type of driving violation. It was the speed at one point. I was going 5 under, cruise control was set. It was almost like a busier highway. It wasn't really possible to even speed, and I knew she wasn't even looking at my speedometer. Drove me crazy. And at another point, she complained about how I changed lanes. I know for a fact I was not driving bad. She was just being a Karen. You want to call my manager? Great. Try calling Uber support. They never answer for me. I doubt they'll answer for you either. And if you get a hold of them, actually put me on the line. I'd like to talk to them too. Have fun calling my manager. All right, the next one is the leftover wrapper guy. This is so infuriating to me. If you gobble down a Twix bar, why do you gotta leave the wrapper? Why can't you just take it with you? Is it that hard to take it with you? And to be honest, what's your mindset thinking you can just treat my car like it's a dump? It drives me crazy. It's one thing if you somehow forget. I just don't know how you forget in such a tight, confined space. And I've seen, water bottles, empty water bottles, chips, like little wrappers, stuff like that. It's probably my fault for just never having a sign up that said no eating in the car, please. But you know what? I just never really cared if they did eat, as long as it's not like a hot dog with mustard on it that could spill all over my seats. But that little bit of trash, it drives me crazy. It drives me more crazy than someone who leaves their wallet, because at least I know that wasn't intentional. But it just infuriates me that someone would intentionally leave behind trash. Oh, it's their job. I'm not a janitor, bro. Come on. Alrighty. This next one, this happened to me multiple times, and this drives me crazy. Someone leaves their keys, wallet, phone, whatever it is. Now, that's a pretty normal occurrence. Probably every single one of you watching this channel has dealt with that. The worst part, though, is when they don't realize it right away, and you don't either. The next worst part is when you drive really far away, and they're 30, 40 miles away. That $15 fee doesn't really cut it. So on top of it, in one scenario in particularly, a girl leaves her phone. Took her a long time to figure it out. I didn't figure it out. I wasn't looking. Finally, she starts ringing the Find Your iPhone thing nonstop. I mean nonstop for 10 to 15 minutes. I have done 3 or 4 rides now. I take the call, or I take the phone. I can't, what am I supposed to do? Call her mom? No, I can't get into the phone. It's got a passcode. So this thing's going off like crazy, and since I'd given a couple of rides since that happened, I wasn't entirely sure who left their phone. Am I gonna go to each drop-off point? I wouldn't even be able to remember where they'd all been anyways, or how to get there. Turns out it was this girl that was a good 30, 40 miles away. It was about 1:20 p.m., right before bar rush. Finally, she's bright enough to realize that as the phone's moving around, it's probably in the Uber. Great observation, Sherlock. It took her way too long. I would guess the Find Your iPhone alert went off at least a good 30 or 40 times. It was maddening. Absolutely maddening. I was so heated about it. So at that point, finally she had a roommate or a neighbor or somebody that calls me, and she's like, hey, she really needs her phone. And I'm like, well, tough luck, you know, it's the hot part of the night. You're pretty far out. I'm right close to where all the bars are gonna let out. You know, I'll drop it off at around 3 or 4 a.m. That's what I told her, the neighbor. I hear this chick bawling her eyes out in the background, bawling her eyes out. And so finally, at like almost 3 a.m., I was like, okay, I can bring it back, but I mean, it's a pretty far drive, you know, can you guys, like, can you throw me some, oh yeah. So the girl finally called me at around like 2:45, still somewhat sobbing, can you please bring it back? I really need my phone, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, can you throw me a little something extra? Like, it's a pretty far drive back to where you're at. And I was just like, you know what? If she can throw me like 20, 30 bucks, I'm not even gonna do the lost item fee. She's like, well, I just like, I don't have any cash on me. I was like, well, how about this? You can go in the app and you can, you know, tip me extra for that ride. She goes, oh, okay, we'll do that. So I drive all the way back, get her the phone. She's just a hot mess, you know, tear stains all over her cheeks, like dripping makeup. I mean, just miserable over a cell phone. That's how crazy this society is. We're so addicted to our phones. I mean, it's a Saturday. I can't imagine she had work tomorrow or the next day and like needed her phone that badly. Whatever, I somewhat understand. So lo and behold, she doesn't tip me on the app. And so yeah, I charged her the 15 bucks, but I was pretty ticked about it because then I was really far away from my house. And so, you know, I in total probably did over 35 or 40 extra miles of driving just to get her freaking phone. It's one thing if you leave it and you're cool about it. I had someone throw me 50 bucks once for bringing their phone back, and I was like, my God, you are a saint. Like, thank you. It's like, even if it had been 20 or 30, I still would have been like, you're a heck of a human being. All right, next one on the list is the overly depressed guy. Now, I don't mind being borderline psychologist for my passengers if I have to. As you guys know, a lot of people like to vent and open up, but I have had some real Debbie Downers where it's like, no matter what you say, well, you know, man, I'm so sorry that you're going through that, but you know what, I'm sure things will get better for you. No, there's no way they will. You just don't understand. And I'm like, well, okay, like, you know, what am I supposed to say to that? Like, so I always hated those rides because I feel really awkward. I picked up a guy one time at a gentleman's club, probably 3, 4 in the morning, and he's just sobbing the whole ride about how he's got to go home now and tell his wife. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I'm probably like 23 at the time. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to handle this scenario. Like, what do I even say? And so I think I just told him, I was like, well, you know, best thing you can do, you know, like, just go be honest with your wife and trust that it'll all work out. And I mean, then he just like erupted into this like sobbing like fit. And it was like a 30-minute ride, very awkward, just really uncomfortable. It's a tough ride to give. Next one on the list is the smelly passenger, the guy or gal that doesn't wear deodorant. There's a certain distinct smell. It's not just BO, it's like weeks old BO or something. Like something's rotting in those armpits. I don't know what it is. I feel like you guys probably all have experienced this, but I've had riders that kind of smell. I can kind of get past that. Then I've had some where it's almost like I can't tolerate it, and I feel like my nose is probably my worst sense overall. Like I don't have a strong sense of smell. So I know if it's affecting me that much that it's like brutal. And I've had probably 5 or 6 rides total where it was the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. I didn't know if they were like stashing a dead animal underneath their shirt, or if they just hadn't showered in weeks, or if they just don't believe in deodorant, or like what, but quite possibly the worst smell I have ever smelled. And I'm just sitting here like thinking to myself, like, how can you go into public knowing that you reek like this? It's like I said, there's a difference. It's not just BO. It's way, way beyond BO. I know you guys know what I'm talking about because I feel like everybody's experienced that type of ride. Next one on the list that drives me crazy is the sneaky beer guy, trying to very quickly and quietly pop the tab on their Bud Light so they can get a quick chug in because God forbid they can't wait 10 minutes to wherever they're going. It'd be one thing if you asked, but to just do it is so rude. It could get me in so much trouble, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. The last one on my list is kind of like number 5, but it's a little bit different. It's not just Smelly, it's the guy who probably ate too much Taco Bell the night before. The flatulence guy. Again, I know you guys have all experienced this. It's not even just the smell, it's also the awkwardness knowing that they smell it too, and you don't know if you should say anything. I've always kind of had like little like, I try not to be rude because I'm like, you know, maybe they're just really holding it in and we just both got to deal with it for the next 10-15 minutes. But I'll do little sneaky moves, like I'll pretend like I have to like cough, and I'll like cough into my shirt and then like just like inhale, and at least the faint smell of my own, you know, deodorant like kind of keeps me alive for the next 5 minutes. I used to have something I would do, I'm trying to remember what it was, to where I could roll the window down. But it's also really awkward because you know if you roll the window down, they're thinking that you know. They're too embarrassed to say anything. But again, that one, and what I hate to say about this last one is it's probably more common than all the others, is people that are just ripping them when you're in the car, and it is brutal. So anyways, that's my list for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know some of the ones you think I missed in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out Play Octopus. Get some more earnings under your belt. And I will talk to you guys soon.